A woman was playing with her son when she suddenly realized that he wasn't looking at her like a child. He was always looking at her with malicious intent. This made her realize that something was wrong. She quickly sat up and pushed him away, but the next second her son instantly regained his innocence. At first, the woman thought she was overthinking it, but that night, when she was sleeping in her room, the boy quietly came to her bed and gently stroked her cheek with his hand. However, something even stranger was yet to come. There was a party at home that day, and she and her husband just hugged each other briefly. But Jack suddenly showed a vicious expression, as if he had seen his enemy. In order to find out what was going on, the woman asked Jack what had happened recently, but Jack said this moment made the woman feel a little scared. Out of concern, she wanted to go forward and ask carefully, but the next second, Jack suddenly turned off the lights, which caused her to fall because she couldn't see the road. Clearly, since relatives and friends were at home at this time, the woman did not go upstairs to settle the score with Jack, but waited until her husband went to work the next day and wanted to go to Jack's room to talk to him. But just when he was thinking about how to open his mouth, his hand was accidentally cut by the piano. He never expected that there was a blade placed on the piano. After realizing that this might be Jack's prank, the woman was furious on the spot. But before he could find Jack, he heard Jack's cry for help from the cellar. The woman walked in without thinking much and found Jack lying in the corner with cold hands and feet. He thought his son had a high fever, so he quickly took Jack to the room and then frantically looked for antipyretics. As a result, he found his lost clothes in the drawer of the room. Because the situation was urgent, the woman had no time to think about it. She quickly took the thermometer to the bed, but at this time he found that Jack was saying some unclear words. He wanted to go forward and listen carefully, but the next second Jack suddenly opened his eyes. This instantly made the woman furious. She wanted to teach Jack a lesson, but as soon as she walked into the living room, she found that the picture frame was broken. She was so angry that she quickly put her things away and looked for Jack, but then the woman could no longer bear it and ran after Jack to the backyard. She never thought that the next second, when she turned around, she suddenly found a hand grabbing her ankle. But then the hand disappeared strangely. A series of events made the woman realize how terrifying Jack was. He told her husband all this, but he didn't take it seriously, saying that boys his age are in their rebellious phase, and that it's normal for them to be a little difficult to communicate with. He then urged the woman to take a hot shower. However, when the woman entered the bathroom, he took out a bottle of medicine and dropped a few drops into a cup of water. When the woman came out of the shower, he pretended to accidentally hand it to her. The woman drank it all without realizing it. That night, he had a nightmare. He dreamed that the ghost hand he had seen during the day was holding a dagger and stabbing him frantically. The woman was immediately awakened by the fright, and her body was drenched in cold sweat. But what made him even more terrified was that his sleep, 2:15, the woman's clothes were actually slashed by the dagger. The illusion in her dream became reality, which made her very panic. Period might not be her son. The strange things that had happened during this, but the dirty things in the house. As expected, when the woman had this thought, the shutter belt on the window suddenly broke by itself. This was as if telling the woman that he was right. The woman dared not live in this house anymore. She begged her husband to take them and their son away. However, the husband said that he had limited funds and hoped that the woman would give him some time, leaving the woman alone and helpless in this house. After that, he left without looking back. He was always worried. However, he did not encounter any strange things today. Instead, he received a bouquet of roses. The woman was very happy at first, thinking it was a surprise from her friends and husband. But when she opened the letter, she was shocked and broke into a cold sweat. It turned out to be a harassing letter written by her son. The woman rushed into her son's room in anger and slapped him. But her son, the woman, with eyes full of resentment, tried desperately to deny that he had done such a thing. But the handwriting on the picture was undeniable. She realized the severity of the problem and decided to take her son to see a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist, who was also her longtime friend, asked her to wait outside while he ran a series of tests on the boy. The results showed that the boy was perfectly healthy and cheerful, a perfectly normal child. The problem lay with the woman herself, as the boy's drawings clearly showed that he had received very little attention recently, which had left him feeling very insecure. Hearing this, the woman felt a pang of sadness. He seemed to be unable to find any excuses to justify himself. But the psychiatrist saw through his... The doctor then explained the woman's difficulties and comforted her, saying that her ex-husband was dead and would not force her to take drugs with him. She could now relax completely and enjoy her family without being constantly tense.